Okay, and welcome back to FireCast episode 2 with my co-host DZ.
It's cracking.
And today we've got a very special guest, not only a long-time friend, but TJMR member Mr.Meegley, Michael Attard.
How's it going, mate? Thanks for having me on, boys.
Of
course, man.
So before we start, let's just explain what happened with
Last
the first
time.
episode.
Well, we sat here for about 2 hours and
we were talking some shit.
we talked about good stuff too, man. It was interesting, but we lost it all.
Look, there was some technical difficulties. I thought that the podcast was literally just sort of play and you can sit with a microphone, but I didn't realize you needed a bit like some software and some gear to record for longer periods of time.
It's never that simple with technology.
So that was my bad. But we've got it all worked out. We've got some new gear and we're ready to go. Our first guest now, I wanted to have you, Michael, on here first, just purely for our relationship. It's very... We basically met through music. And you basically helped me push to start DJing and the whole TJMrecords thing. And for a time, you were actually making music yourself. Right?
Yeah.
And though you stopped. What do you think sort of... Because at one point, there was a few of us making music and it was pumping, but it sort of died off over the years, you know what I mean?
I think the hard thing with music is I've always had, the passion for it. The main reason I think, where I stopped is, and a lot of people would have this problem, to actually take that next step. I had the problem of, the software and the technology. I've never been very good with technology. I've been more that guy that, I imagine the music in my head. I've got all these ideas and great ways to do it, but I just struggle to, lay that music onto, the platform.
A lot of people have that problem, I reckon, because it's a pain in the ass doing that. Like all the technical side, like you can have as many ideas as you want making music, but trying to actually make it work, like all the stuff that he does, I just rap, but he does all the stuff that I can't be bothered to learn.
Yeah,
So-
100%.
The patience as well was a big thing apart. Like, I am a very impatient guy, as you two probably know.
Yeah,
I'm very impatient.
So
I can't. But for some reason, when music was the only thing I could really sit there for hours on end and try to learn it and try to really get good at it. It was the only thing, and that really was from us hanging out all the time. And I remember one specific memory where me and you were hanging out, and we're doing some naughty stuff. We won't get into what we were doing, but we were hanging out, and I remember you clearly said to me, "Man, wouldn't it be sick if we started DJing?" And I'm pretty sure that same weekend, this guy got us a gig.
So yeah, the tale to that story is as simple as we'll drive them around. I put on a song. We always every journey we went on, it'd always be what dubstep song do we have to show now? And we went around and there was this one song by December, probably one of my all time favorite songs, Ultramarine, and we'll listen to that. And really, I was just like, wouldn't it be awesome playing these songs that literally move you, and then take it to the next level, and not only just play it by yourself, but play it with your best mates. And I remember we went to we saw Your Shot and we saw what Your Shot did to guys like Step Brothers, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. Like, not only, I know you always wanted to produce music, but I think really the next step is actually putting the music together and, taking it to the next level and getting your name out there. So yeah, that next week, we sat down together and, we had a day off work and we sat down and, we went through it and we auditioned for Your Shot. We went there, me, you, and Brad. And when we were there, we were so confident, we nailed the interview. We're like, yeah, we're gonna be on Your Shot. And then, we didn't get the call up. And I remember being heartbroken. And we were like, all right, yep, damn, our chance is done. And we've seen some other of our friends get in, and we're like, oh,
See, that was. If I don't really remember it, but all I remember is going to the middle of buttfuck Sydney
Greenwood Hotel. Yeah.
And everyone from Sydney knows how hard it is to get into the CBD. And we had to go there.
On a Sunday, wasn't it? I swear it was a Sunday.
It was on a fucking Sunday. And there was a lot of people there. I'm talking, there was hundreds.
It's literally like Australian Idol audition.
But for
that
DJing.
big for DJing. Because it just, look at all the people DJing and laundering everywhere. Everyone that's DJing in clubs at that point in time were all contestants that, you get into Your Shot, you make a name for yourself. And that's how a lot of them get into the
Is that
scene.
how it works? I
that's
never even knew that.
That's how a lot of them, a lot of the guys we DJ'd with at Distortion, all that, a lot of them made their name. Like, you know, they'd go into Your Shot and they play dubstep.
So your shot is what? Like it's like an interview process.
Literally, so-
but that hooks you up to all the clubs or something.
No. Like, so shout out Step Brothers, right? They did help us a lot in our early DJ career.
They still
Nothing
make
but
music?
respect. Nah, not anymore. Nothing but respect for those boys. But so they won one year Your Shot, and the prize was they got to fucking DJ at Stereosonic.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
and it's like a little side segment to Stereosonic.
And they got a prime spot, I'm pretty sure.
That's
And
mad
there's
good.
actually I'm pretty sure there's a video on YouTube, and one of the boys has like a little GoPro on the deck. So, and I did watch that ages ago, but so they literally make you you get like an email say rock up to Greenwood at this time, and you don't really get told much info, and you rock up, and it's like Australia's Got Talent. There's all these people around, people are talking shit, are like, you know, acting cool, and we've rocked up, and then they literally just sit you down at a table like how we are, and they just ask you questions.
Yeah, we're at a park bench, and the way it works out is you don't have to have any talent at all. Basically, what they're doing is they're getting you into DJing, and they offer you 10 DJ lessons. So you get 10 DJ
that's
lessons
right.
if you get into Your Shot, but basically you're not getting in on playing music. You're basically getting in on purely your persona, like as if you're going for Big Brother or something. It's just they're shooting. That's exactly what it is. And I think us not getting into Your Shot was awesome. Like, you know, obviously playing at Stereosonic would have been the best memory ever. But I feel like if you didn't win it, I feel like it was way better for us not getting in, because instead of giving up, what I did is the next week, you know, this thing popped up randomly, and it was at that club, and it was what was it? It was a DJ competition.
I think was it above Soho?
It was above Soho, and it was
above a club in Sydney, in the heart of the like dirty old King's Cross.
and it was just a random DJ competition. I was like, oh, you know, it's probably like, you know, there's no chance of this. I was like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna do it. And then that like 2 days later, I get a call up, and they're like, hey. We'd like to, you're in, and we're like, I was like, wait, well, you're in. It's like, how many of you guys are there? And then I frozen thought on the spot. So we hadn't ever had a discussion how many of us boys were DJ, but we were a big group all into the same thing. And I go, all right, give me a sec. I called all the boys separately, and I was like, all right, look, Iggy, you're not going to believe this, but I got us a gig. It's like, what do you mean? I was like, it's a DJ competition. You know, we can go there. And it's like, how many of us can do it? I was like, all right, I'm just going to find out. So I call her back, and she's like, how many? And I was like, 5. And she goes, 5? Let me just ask the manager. So she asked the manager, like, all right, yep, you can do it. So we're like, think about it. No one's ever been seen DJing 5 people.
Yeah, that's
All
mad.
5
That's
motherfuckers, bro.
fucking cool.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we learned, like, it is not the most practical thing ever, but to us, like, it was hard. DJing with 5 people, you got to go 2 songs each. You basically... You crowd for space, and we have never ever had any DJ training. Zero,
Bro.
zero. Not any. They don't offer you any. It's meant to be like, you know, a DJ competition for actual DJs.
Yeah.
But we went DJ.
And then, so listen to this, right? So then what happens is, say a month or whenever the fuck the gig is, we get hyped to practice, and we buy like fucking shirts and shit, and we ended up bringing a busload of motherfuckers.
Like,
I'm talking
busload.
No, not a mini bus. I'm talking a bus. We bring 30, 40 motherfuckers.
No,
right?
heaps.
We rock up, and once again, we're fucked up. We're blind, and you know we're just having a good time, and we're so drunk, and we get to I've never seen one of these decks in my life. Right, I rock up the big fucking proper club deck. It's got 4 mixers, right? We couldn't even turn the cunt on.
oh,
We couldn't
Oh,
even
God,
turn the
God,
decks on.
boys.
And
We're all mangled.
And we're fucking sitting there. We're blind as fuck, and we're going, what the fuck? And then one of like shout out again to Mo B. He starts panicking, going, man, how the fuck do we turn this on? I don't know what the fuck we're doing. And we're all just kind of like laughing and freaking out at the same time. Luckily we knew one of the DJs, 5'9". He was a local from the area. He's been DJing for years, and we had to call him over to help us turn on the fucking DJ deck. We had no idea what the fuck we were doing.
did you play well or what?
No. The fuck no.
No, not at all.
Like the mix, we weren't even mixing. We'll just click and play and pause, and we're just jumping up and down.
Like all we're doing is like the volume, and we'll like, you know, transition in and out. But like the funny enough, the next part of the story is the guy that so we've been going to Distortion. To anyone that doesn't know Distortion, it's like basically this big dubstep thing, and it had the biggest dubstep artists they would get, and we'd go.
Yeah.
And the owner of Distortion, shout out to Dan Distortion. He always saw our faces there. And I remember the one time where he key remembered us is that we're talking about DJs we liked, and he heard us say Getter, and he's like, Getter's coming up next, boys. And we're all going nuts. And that's like the first proper memory I have at interacting with Dan.
Yep.
And then from there, summer, he walks around the corner, he's in the back and he's watching us. But the biggest thing is we had a full crowd of all our friends. We had like we had like there was 2 stages and we had everybody pumping.
Basically, St. Clair and us.
It was our song choices. It's like, just like a house party, and that's what it was like. And then he goes there and you can tell him, I see him in the back and you can see him vibing, and it's just like straight after it. Who did he come up to? Did he come up? I'm pretty sure it was you.
Yeah. So he after we played our horrible set, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Dan owned the place where they held the competition, if I remember correctly.
Well, he was always going to competitions to scout them, just, for potential guys to join Distortion. That's what he was doing all the time.
Yeah, you can't quote me on it though. I'm pretty sure he owned the top room.
Or he had something to do with that promotion-wise.
Because he was there. Like, he had something to do with it. And anyway, after we played our horrible set, we're even more tanked than what we were during the set, where we're all excited, we're vibing. And then I remember Dan Distortion just comes up to our table, all 5 of us were there, and he just goes, hey boys, I'm Dan, I'm the owner of Distortion. And I was like, man, we know exactly who you are. And he goes, how would you boys like to play at Distortion? And we've all just fucking gone, yeah!
We were like hugging, like we just won the lottery.
We were hugging,
bro.
Well, you know what? He probably just liked the vibe, man. Like 5 dudes on stage, like you said, it's like Odd Future shit, man. That's what we always say. Like, it's just a vibe. Like,
the first thing he said to us was literally like, I didn't know you boys DJ'd. And I was like, no, basically nor did we.
We don't.
we don't. But as soon as that, he doesn't DJ people on talent. He DJs people that support the night and love the scene.
Yeah. Yes.
And that was exactly what we do. Even to this day, don't get me wrong, like me and Iggy got really good, like a lot better at DJing.
Oh, yeah.
But even to this day, are we excellent DJs? No. But what are we? Performers.
Yes.
Like literally we're good at hyping, and our song choice was so good because we were literally getting these songs from the most underground places. Like we were listening to people like that are now big but weren't back then.
Yes.
And our playlist was so different to everyone else's, so we'd always stand out because everyone would go whatever was popular at the time, like Rhythm, or everyone would play Flux Pavilion. What's that most?
I can't stop.
Literally. So all we had to do was just play what we liked, and then we'd always bring the crew.
The crowd.
crazy, man. How everything everything happens for a reason.
Oh,
man.
yeah,
Look at
exactly
us
right.
now.
And,
like look at we're doing so much
And
stuff.
look at it now, and who would think 6 years later, we're making crazy music. TJM Records is literally a thing. Like,
and it's so like I've said from the start, the whole TJM thing. Like even like how you guys will play a set, right? I've been to a couple of your sets, and it's still Trip Jacket Mafia. Like it's Mike is DJ. Like that's still
So
we're always like a group thing. It's mad. Like it's so cool.
The plan from the beginning was to always stay as TJM. Fuck what anyone else thinks. You stay as Trip Jacket Mafia, and then once the music things happened, I come up with the idea to just add the records at the end to make it sound professional, and it's got a mad ring to it, man. And see, that's why.
There's a lot of members. A lot of people think it's just Moby, me, him.
Nah, there's a lot of us.
Man,
there's a lot of us.
Everyone is TJ.
Well, that's what I said like early in the beginning, when at one point we had 6 or 5 of us, and we were all making music. All of us.
So cool.
And even Michael, at one point, he was making music, and he even released a song that was like good, like it was decent, and it was getting shared by, like, at the time, Conductor, which he was one of our idols at the time.
Oh, the interactions we had and stuff, like the memory that you're talking about. I remember we're at my house, and in my room, I was there with Mobsy, and me and him were on FL doing tracks. Yes. And then in the other room, we had Brad Diamond and Iggy working. At one stage, it was like a full production studio.
Yes.
And just our houses, and it was so good. But I think, you went 100% commitment, and like, you were like the 1% really. And although I just fell in love with the DJing side of it, I more so pursued that, and like to support you.
I mean, you were in the song. What was the song where you did the beatboxing?
Oh, that was also another good story. That was a good time.
I feel like Also, to another thing too that you can't really like blame people for, but as you get older, I feel like a lot of the crew realize that they weren't as interested in the production, like the behind the scenes production of the music thing. But I sort of felt like I kind of fell in love with it the most out of all of us. So, you know, obviously as you go getting older, people sort of take separate interests and go sort of down separate paths, but we're still together. Like you're still mates with these people, but everyone sort of takes their own separate path.
Doing their own thing.
But I sort of committed 100% to the whole music thing.
You got to be to someone like, to be honest, we're biological brothers. A lot of people don't know that either.
Oh, yeah, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, me and DZ are actually related. Like,
same mum, same dad.
Same, yeah, but everything with full blood.
I've known him for a long time, my whole life, and not finding out that he does music was a bit of a shock, because especially the stuff that you do now, because you got to get good at what you do, you have to have some foresight and be able to know that you got to put in a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of like trudging through shit you don't want to do, but the end result, you got to have some vision for it. You know what I mean? Because learning all these programs, like even now, I'm only just learning how to record my own shit at home. I'd always come here and record with him because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just put words together, literally. And only just now I've been learning how to do FL and shit, because, man, it's complex for someone who just likes, you know, they hear a tune and they like it and they vibe. They try recording their own stuff and they don't realize how much work you actually need to put in to produce something listenable, you know what I mean? So it was a bit surprising when I found out that you fucking went into that.
I think it was a big surprise to everyone, even myself, really, because like even through school, I couldn't, like, I was probably borderline autism. I couldn't like, concentrate for longer. I couldn't concentrate for like longer than 5 minutes at a time.
You need
like,
patience.
I wouldn't go to class. I get in arguments with my teachers. Like, and even when I did music, the music class, that class, woodwork and art were the only 3 classes I probably went to every single class. And even back then, I didn't enjoy music as much, which I wish I knew I loved music back then, because obviously I would have gone to music and paid more attention and yada, yada, yada. But as soon as I left school and started hanging out with Michael and the boys, like on a regular, like at one point we were even hanging out on weeknights. Like we were going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go to work Monday, Tuesday, and then we'd get together Wednesday for dinner.
We're seeing each other more than you see your own family.
My own family. and the music from there, like, and what were we doing every single time we're together?
We always had a speaker on, and it was
Listening
always
to
like
music.
top music at the time. Like I remember when I first like come into the group, because obviously I met you through my brother, and then me and you got really close simply from music. And I remember through all those times I'd come in, and straight away you would always have a set playlist. You'd have dubstep, and I was just like, oh my god, what the hell is this? And it was always literally everything was hanging around. Like everyone was chatting, talking, having drinks, but music was always the main point. It connected everything else, and all the conversation, everything flow off it. Half the time we go out, the best part of the night is simply us sitting around a circle,
listening to music,
and listening to music, and everyone goes song for song for song, and like that passion in music, like honestly, like it's the best thing, because we all had such similar taste, and it is generally a genre that, you know, was not popular at all. It was very, you know, and we all fell in love with it instantly, and it was all really connected from you.
Yeah, see, we were the weird kids because we liked dubstep.
So yeah, you guys, man, see it's crazy. Like you guys have that passion for music, obviously, and you love listening to music. But I don't have the patience to listen to that much. Like it's so hard for me to find new music unless I stumble across a song or someone's playing a song that I hear. Otherwise, my Spotify playlist stays the same. It takes so long for me to add a new song. Like, do you look for new music and shit?
Yes.
I basically have it as like a part-time job.
Yeah.
So especially even back in the day
I struggled to do that.
Especially from back in the day when Mike is saying when we were all hanging out, I'm pretty sure. So say there's a group of about 10 of us, maybe 11 boys. And I know for a 100% fact that we would all go home from hanging out and we would all search for new music to come back the next day and show each other just to try compete. It was kind of like friendly competition, like who's got the best song of the night.
So we'd always have the key 10 songs that would always be played. Like we'd have like a classics that where, you know, we'd go and play like, you know, the Zomboy Immunity when that was at the time. But other than that, it was always like, oh, I got a new song to show you, and it was you go around the room and you're the champion song, and you know that your song's really good because then the next day Iggy be hitting me up, Mike, what the hell was this song?
And you're sending screenshots.
crazy.
And then
Like-
I've built my playlist from back in those days, and even to this day now, I've got all those playlists on the time. So
Yes.
it just goes in times. Like it's crazy, man.
And this was back in the day too, when SoundCloud was like the only source of music. That was the in thing, SoundCloud. Now it's fucking dead. Like,
SoundCloud sucks.
I don't even.
I
yeah.
love SoundCloud. See, I'm stuck in the past, and you know, I love it.
I like it, but like I got into it late. Like only now putting my own stuff on there. I just upload my stuff and that's it. I don't really search and dive in, but it's cool. I've always liked the concept of SoundCloud. I think it's a cool platform.
It's very good for underground dubstep. I think that's the main thing, and why I've always stayed with it because I find that's really good for underground based music.
Yeah. So SoundCloud, I could never delete it or whatever because of all the old stuff I've got on there. Like it's all key music in like my life, but it is fucking dying, which sucks because so many people got exposure through SoundCloud. But I feel like nowadays you have to change. Music will change. It's got to change with the times. And at the moment, Spotify is obviously the biggest thing until the next app comes out, and then it's all gonna just switch and fade, and then just transition to the next big app, really. And
Yeah, we should probably explain this again.
yeah.
We haven't.
Yeah, okay. So, something we said in the first episode, this thing here probably looks like a brown dildo in the camera, but as you can see, DZ brought this in the first episode. He said that this is going to be our 100th episode cigar.
This is episode 2.
This is episode 2, by the way, because the first
tried-
episode happened. It's just obviously not going to be uploaded because it's just we couldn't get it done properly. But
failed.
on the 100th episode, this will be smoked with 2 guests. I guess Mikey would be on here because he is the first guest.
Whoever. I mean, whoever's on.
So
at the
Mr.
time.
Meegley and one other person.
What are the lucky?
What other lucky contestant? This is going to be chuffed the whole thing on the podcast. So that's,
While we talk.
100. This is number 2.
So we've got fucking 98 to go. Fuck me.
Yeah.
You could have made it like 50 or something.
No, but think about how good that thing's going to be. Like, you know, it's that
I
half-
know we do it 100. I mean,
it's going to happen.
we
Like,
do 100. I mean, we do 10 episodes 10 times.
Well, think of it. Like, I've already got just off the top, maybe I've already got about 5 guests lined up.
I
That's
got
no cap.
people too that
Yeah,
want
that's
to come
no cap,
on.
no
We
cap.
got people for sure.
Another thing too, speaking about guests, I'm just gonna say shout out to Young SB and the Casting Couch podcast. Young SB in episode 2 did shout out me and DZ. So man, he's a great dude. And we might get him on maybe next or in 2 weeks because he's actually changing his whole artist profile and name. So that'll be kind of interesting to talk about, like why he's gone through that. So yeah, shout out to them. I'll have a link in the description below to their podcast. I get so paranoid with this shit because it's any little thing could go wrong.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of equipment to keep track
This is
of.
why we
As
need,
long as that thing's spinning, man, you'll be good.
yeah, and we need an offsider, right? So we're fucking send me your resume, boys.
Yeah, we need a tech man. Well, we got a tech wizard in the group, technically.
Yeah, but it would probably be boring sitting here for fucking 2 hours listening to dudes talk. But fuck,
Not if you pay him.
No, not if. No,
yeah,
depends
for
what
free,
you're
you
talking
know
about.
him, yeah. This is going back to one of the topics we were talking about, the DJing. And one of the things I wanted to bring up too, so what we were saying, so basically our savior in music, Dan Distortion, he gives us the gig and says he loves the energy. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do with the mixing and stuff like that, but that's all good. He still gave us the gig, right? We start DJing. And then what happens? We get into massive beef with all of fucking Sydney DJs. Do you remember that shit?
It was big time too.
This was beef.
What the hell happened?
Yeah. So
I forgot about
what
this.
happens is, so we
Fucking hell.
DJ and we were all wearing bandanas. And Step Brothers, they didn't do it first, but they were doing it. And I specifically remember we had asked them, man, all good if we wear, you don't care if you wear bandanas as well. They go, nah, man, fucking go for it. Like, that's hectic, go for it. 5 dudes up there, you guys look like burglars or like whatever, it looks cool. We did it. Someone uploads a video, I think it may have been Dan Distortion himself, uploaded a video and goes, and the caption was like, us doing the set, and it was like, oh, man, like love this energy or something, it was positive. Nothing but love, right? And then it happens. The Facebook trolls, the comments, the people who think that they're the sick cunts. They start commenting. Why are they wearing bandanas? Why is there 5 of them?
Bro, it's just anyone wears bandana.
Why are they copying Step Brothers? Why are they copying other people? Why are they doing this or that? You know what I mean? And then it just started, and it just started, and it started. And of course, out of all the boys, who's the one who's got the balls to fire back?
Mobsy.
Mobsy just says some insulting things, and I'm not going to repeat it in case one day they do hear this shit, but you know what I mean? I won't drop any names and shit like that. But Mobsy just straight up in the comments goes, man, shut the fuck up, you like, and he's bringing in people's races and weights, and yeah.
But he's sticking up what we believe in, because we weren't those douchebags. We literally, we told you our journey to get to that point. We had passion for it, and it was, for us, we were just so pumped, and like we weren't putting anything on. Like to get to that point and to do it, and how much we're into music, man, and to do it with 4 of your best mates beside you, like we're doing something different, and it was the best feeling ever. And then of course, you know,
people gonna hate.
Yeah, 100%. People, you know, when a lot of people are successful, and you know, you might not be going for a successful patch, you get jealous. It's natural.
So of course, Mobsy takes the reins in fighting back, which is great. Like I love, like I'm all for it. Especially back then too. I was a fuckwit back then, so I was keen as for it. And I'm like, yes, sweet as a bit of beef. But you don't realize that, like, we entered this thing, and I feel like people were so threatened because they knew that the energy alone that we had could potentially be a problem later down the track to like their name. Like, not that we're trying to do anything bad or take over, but it's like kind of like a, oh shit, like who are these guys? Like, fuck, what if they
new guys on the block and just outbursted?
Yeah, what if they get the good time or the good set or the this and that? And we entered the, so from the get go, music for me and for us, for TJM Records, was in like bad waters, you could say. And so we enter this scene, and people already hate us. For no reason at all, just because we're wearing bandanas. And
we had to start from the very bottom. It's like a TV show, and really starting at the bottom. We had to work our way up. It's like you get into this like secret club, and you're at the very, very bottom. You got all the bullies, and you got all this, and you had to start from the bottom and work your way up. Literally, it's ridiculous how much it was like that. And now, like, talking about it with you, it really opens your eyes to like how hard and how much work we did have to put in to get to where we ended up doing it.
Like, I mean, I feel the same too. Like, you don't realize how much, when you like doing something, how much work you put in. Like, I do a lot of music work. Like, I work on music. I'll go to work. I'll do this, and like my day's always full of just. But I don't feel like I'm working on stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like I'm putting in work. But you think in hindsight, you're like, shit, man, I am putting a lot of work in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see, I kind of sometimes feel the same, but then I remember that, like, I do a job where we sometimes work fucking ridiculous hours. I'm working in the heat. I'm fucking dehydrated. I'm hungry all the time. We're sweating our cunts out. Like,
we're working literally to the brick and bone, man. It's rough sometimes.
And then no matter how tired I am, how shit I feel, I literally, like a zombie, walk in the door and I turn the computer on and I just sit down and put the headphones on, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing for the first hour, and then I go, oh fuck, like, okay, all right, like I was just literally like sleeping at my computer, then I wake up and I'm like, oh, okay, shit, cool, I'm making music, and I've got like half a beat made.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't realize how much, like, when people say I work so hard, I always feel like, you know, I'm not working that hard. But then you think you are working that hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? You are working.
That's the thing too. People have to be a bit more, especially in the music thing, people have to be a bit more positive in themselves.
I'm all for that, man. People, I 100% believe, we're talking a little bit about this on the first episode, but like, what energy you put out is what you get back, man. And especially if you're trying to do music or anything where you need people to invest time in you, you have to be putting out energy that people are going to want to listen to. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be stuck up and arrogant and hating on everybody because you think you're better. The world's big enough for everyone to win, man. So you got to support people.
Yeah, well, that especially like with social media, because for musicians and producers, social media is our biggest weapon, and the biggest thing is being positive to what you see on the internet as well, because the love you can get back is crazy. Like, I posted a post yesterday or 2 nights ago, and a random page has got like 4,000 followers, just randomly DM me and goes, "Hey, bro, is it all good if I share this?" I was like,
Of course it is.
I was like, of course, share it. He shared it, and then so probably that's potential 4,000 new customers or whatever, new fans that have probably seen it now. And then he just replied and goes, "Hey man, like, is it all good if you check out my album?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fucking no." So it's literally just like I scratch your back, you scratch my back type of thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of artists kind of don't have that. Like there's a lot of negativity.
A lot of people want all take and no give, man. That's the thing, especially artists, man. They think they're the best. They're you king shit walking, and man, that only gets you so far. You gotta be open to receiving new ideas and new information from people, and you gotta pick each other up, man.
Of course. Well, like I feel like, especially with the dubstep scene in Sydney, there was basically no scene except for distortion.
Yeah, so it was that, and if you quite remember, so obviously we got into that DJ competition. I don't count that as our first set because that was a competition, that was a trial, and basically if what happened to us there didn't happen, we probably don't DJ. Our actual first proper set actually wasn't with five of us. It was shout out again to 5'9", which Luke Micallef. He got us a gig at Candies, and it was for the Splice and Dice, and same thing. The people headlining that thing both had bandanas on. And yet again, here we go. We got two guys in the back. We've got bandanas on. Oh my God, these guys have bandanas on. I'm like, oh, here we go again. But literally, backroom of Candies, back in the day, Candies was like, it was full of heaps of creatures. Oh. So many creatures, and you'd go there and you'd sweat, and everybody was off, doing naughty shit. Yeah. And we go in this back room, and basically the front room is all gay, Melbourne Bounce, house crap. You go into this back room, and it is just this bass heaven.
Dubstep and fucking...
Oh, we go on there, and our main thing when we went into that set was, all right, we've done a lot of mistakes. I remember the first set, I stopped playing one of his songs. I made a big mistake. Oh,
that's right, yeah.
And that really shook me. But at the same time, I picked myself up and went, nah, we're good. We practice harder the next time, and we were like, all right, this time, I don't know why we made the decision to do two of us, but either way, we did two of us. And we got two of us back behind there, but don't get me wrong, the whole time we had the other three boys literally right behind us. So you've got a brick arch, and in the brick arch was like literally, an archway. And you have both of us standing in the back. I've still got videos of that first set, and that set we nailed. Literally, we basically played two artists, like Conductor and December, which was two of the reasons we're into melodic dubstep so much. And that really got us off there because not only did we have distortion, but other than that, we'd always play in the Candies back room when Luke Micallef would do a takeover, and it'd be like,
"That's right." What year is this, by the way? Like, because people we haven't. I don't think we said that. Like, what year?
So we're in. It was at least 5 years ago, man. Like I'm telling you, it would have been 5 years ago at least.
We were still kids, I'm pretty sure.
So yeah,
we were still kids.
You get the memory that back in what?
Well, 18, 19.
18, 19.
You're still a kid.
I'm a year older than most of the boys. So yeah, I was in my 20s, I'm pretty sure. And after that, we just kept getting invited back because not only was it our energy, like we were bringing people.
We were bringing busloads.
And it is a business. And basically the business too is, if you've got it's not normal. Like normally, like people just bring their 2 or 3 friends. No, we're bringing 40 people, a full party bus every time. And shout out to all those people that would come out to those sets because it wouldn't even be that hard. Everyone was so keen. Everyone would just go to the city. It was like having your own house party, and you just throw it in there. And literally, because of that, we got a lot of sets to start with, and then we worked our way from the bottom up. We started talking to all these DJs. I was always the real friendly one, trying to, take it as if I was like a manager kind of role, and I'd be building all these relationships and all these people that, we thought didn't like us and hated in the beginning. We ended up getting them on side. Yeah. Literally got them on side. And how many, out of all the distortions since we played, I reckon we played at 80% of them. And it's such a big crew. And honestly, so many, the percentage, if you do a tally of the percentage of when people played, we're up there pretty high for guys that started how we did. A lot of them, were friends and stuff like that. We were the only kids other than Step Brothers out from Penrith area.
That's a crazy starting story too. You
ridiculous.
just got thrown in the deep end. We literally people don't do that.
We got thrown in the deep end. We had no idea how to DJ. We couldn't even turn on. We didn't even know where the on button was. That's how retarded we were. Not to mention, obviously, with all the liquor and shit. It's a bit, it doesn't help, but. You know what I mean?
I remember. Do you remember how nervous we used to get before sets? I'd be shaking.
I'd be wanting to vomit.
Sweating. We'd go to each other. We'd be hugging each other.
It's going to be each other up.
It was brutal. When you actually sit down and think about all that emotions, but then as soon as we get up there, once we knew kind of
It
what we
goes
were
away.
doing, it was nuts because
The nerves go away.
Do you remember the platform we had without even organising it? We had you and me would take the reins on the decks. We'd have Diamond would be the tech master.
The Hawkeye tech master. So he would watch from a distance to make sure no one was making any mistakes. Like that was his job.
If we had a fader on too much, or
mistakes,
I was going to press the wrong button, he'd be there just hawking and he'd stand at the decks, bopping his head. And then you had Brad was
That's
a hype
dope,
man.
man.
Brad was a
Sick.
hype man,
It was
and Brad
sick.
would jump in front of the decks and basically dance. Get the crowd to dance with him, and he'd dance. And then Mobsy, we got him on the mic, and he'd MC, or same thing. He would be another hype person, but more so MC and
MC.
Mo B, by the way. Mobsy's Mo
yeah,
B.
Mo B.
Mo
We
B,
should have
Mo
been talking
B.
about him. So
I think Moby will be the next episode.
yeah, I mean,
Moby.
He's been mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
and you got, I mean, like our live shows now will be kind of similar, wouldn't
Well,
it?
why do you think?
I can't wait to play live,
I
man.
can't
I'll be in
wait.
my element.
I cannot wait because the live. You think the live shows are crazy? Then you wait to the live shows now.
Yeah, I
That-
know,
that shit.
man.
And
They're
that
gonna
was
be
from the
off
very
chops.
start. The live, like that was, we didn't even plan much of it. It just come naturally.
come naturally.
because we get up there. We weren't shy at all. We'd start dancing around in the songs because we knew these songs were crazy. Like these songs were pulling out were ridiculous. So when the drop come out, how many times will we get like a
The crowd will go, oh, like it was. Like
Do you
the
remember
crowd.
the feeling? The best feeling I think DJing was we played at Greenwood Hotel and this place was beautiful. We had this full nice Heineken stage and we come together and to this day it was the best set we ever played. It was five of us. We worked well as a team. In this place it was Noiser was the headliner, so it was drum and bass. So that brought a huge crowd.
Oh, bro.
And we played out of our feet. Like we were playing at like a peak time. We had a lot of clashes, but we had a full room.
Yeah.
A completely full room, and it's like I'd say the size of a church is what it reminded me of. Like that's
Yes,
how like,
it was like a cathedral.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I'm telling you, bro. We had people in the crowd doing this shit, like giving us love heart symbols, bro. And I remember when the set, like we got there's an iconic photo of us, all five of us,
love that
behind the decks, bro. And then I remember when the fucking set was over. This is no fucking. Like, no joke, no exaggeration. I had, like, some fucking German backpacker come up to me, hug me. He's, like, almost about to cry. And he was like, bro, that was the best set I've ever heard. And I'm just
Oh
going,
my
what
God.
the fuck? And mind you, this is all while we're piss drunk. Like, so we are literally just, it can't, like you said, it was a natural feeling. And it's one of those things, that's why I know that
We're doing the right thing.
we're doing the right thing. At least I'm doing the right thing with my life. But on the DJing, we DJ'd fucking everywhere.
hell, so many places, and it's like such a cool story to tell. Like the fact that I might have not got into that producing role. The memories I have with DJing, even to this day. Every now and then, as soon as distortion pops back up, we're always first on that. Like not first, but we always get asked to play.
It's always like
And-
the options there.
And we,
you know?
we always, no matter how long it's been, we get back together and we do the same ritual. We come over a week before the thing, we practice, we get there, we
Yeah.
practice, we go up there. And then, we play at least once a year. And, when it starts kicking off again, we'll get back into that. And now you have your own music to add to it. And it's going to be crazy.
Man, I can't wait, man. We'll have everybody up there on stage, even if they're not doing nothing, just up
Just
there
everyone
partying,
there, man.
man. It's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be so dope.
But other than distortion, we DJ'd at World Bar.
So, World Bar was a
Candies.
random call up and that was a future bass set.
Bro, what about the one? Didn't we once play before?
I went to one at
Someone
Candy.
massive
So it was
at-
called Mine Nightclub and it was that guy that was doing drum and bass. We watched him at Stereosonic. I forget his name.
Axel Boy.
No, it wasn't Axel Boy. It was a guy with
played
spiky
before
hair.
some big names.
I can't
Big
remember his
names.
name, but he was big at the time. It's going to be. He's a very old artist, but we played right before him. And that after Distortion, we started getting our name out there a bit. And we played. It wasn't for what was it called? It was Bass. It was called Bass.
Bass event.
And that turned into Mine Nightclub. And from Bass,
Mine.
one night, the guy loved us so much. He's like, oh my God, your energy's good. We actually did a TJM night. We were the
That's right.
headliners.
We hosted.
and we booked our own DJs.
We hosted the night.
Oh,
and
that's
we-
sick.
Bro, this is all while we're so inexperienced.
Mm.
That's why I wish.
It's just our energy in it. I think it was just our energy as a group, how we'd handle the pressure on the spot. And, we actually, you look at it now and we actually had a lot of good, we had one of everyone. I was pretty good with people skills. You were you were good at handling the crowd. Everyone had their job.
Everyone
in the
had a role.
And it got us to where we were. And it all started from a simple, a day at yours, laying on your bed and we're literally saying it let's do it. Let's start this thing. You've been talking about it for a while. Let's do it. And from there, so much happened.
yeah, it's
It's crazy when you think. I remember that memory so well. And it literally was just a day where I was off, you were off, and we're like, let's go.
I
We mixed two songs together.
Knowing us back then too, we probably purposely took the day off to like talk about making music and shit like that. Like knowing me anyway, I probably would have just fucking chucked a sickie.
Everything happens for a reason, man.
Which is weird too. Which sucks about COVID too, because if COVID wasn't a thing, we probably would have already done a show by now.
Yeah, I mean, but even COVID,
Surely.
like COVID's given us a lot of time to like the music we're releasing now. It's the best stuff we've ever released.
It's
Both of
it's
us.
good, man.
It
is good.
Doing our single things, how I release whatever I want, you release whatever you want, Mobsy releases whatever you want. Like the dynamic we have, and then as soon as shows come back on, we just get the whole band back together, have Mikey on
And
the
we just
decks. You know what I
fucking
mean?
pump it,
Like
Everyone's got their role, man. Everyone's got their
Yeah.
role.
Well, quickly on the music thing, man. DZ Final Boss Level 1 EP is out, produced by me. Link in the description. My song Bad Medicine and District E is also out now. Link in the description.
we have a lot of stuff all the time, man. You got to
yeah.
follow the pages.
Follow the pages,
Keep
man.
up.
Keep up, bro, because you will get left behind.
I drop remixes, singles all the time. I don't
Yeah.
even know. Sometimes I just wake up one day,
and the song's out. You don't even-
I'll record, I'll get it mastered, and then I'll release it that same day, and it's just without warning.
The workflow. That's another thing, man. I've been told by many people they reckon our workflow is kind of like not normal. Like we're
The rate at we
the rate.
Well,
the rate, the
you
rate.
know, a lot of people who release the music, man, they got to listen to Russ. You got to listen to Russ. The stuff he says, man, he says that
Smart.
to Russ. People like he didn't blow up. Like people think, oh, you need to go viral. You need to go viral. It's not about going viral these days.
Yeah.
It's about
It's the
building an
grind.
organic
It's the
fan
grind.
base. You need to provide value to someone. If you got 200 followers, you could be so talented. But people aren't willing to give you your time until you're providing something of value. Think about yourself and what you put your energy into, what you watch, what you listen to, and then think about if your neighbor was like, look, I just dropped this, you want to check it? You wouldn't check it out. You know what I
Exactly
mean?
right.
Like, you
Yes.
need to find value. So that's why I always love what Russ says and what he's done, man, because he's paved the way really to be independent and make a lot of money just off yourself, man. He does everything himself, and it's from building an organic following by releasing stuff. He said you got to be releasing stuff every week. Every week you got to be doing
weekly.
something.
You gotta- yeah.
Once a week you got to be dropping at least something. Provide value.
That's
So
another
that's what
thing.
I try to
That's
do.
another thing too. They think that like for Instagram, for example, the analytics of Instagram, there's if you want to try grow your Instagram page, there's no point in not posting. Basically, you have to post something daily,
That's what Russ,
Once a day.
The thing, like
once a day.
once you're established and you have a big following, then fair enough. People will wait on your stuff. You know, if you're like, you know, J. Cole or Kendrick, they can go years without dropping an album. They'll drop it because they're established. But if you're a no name and you're dropping stuff once every 6 months, people are gonna lose interest quick, man. They're not gonna wait around for you.
Yep.
They're really not. So you got to be dropping stuff weekly. At least something. That's what I try to aim at. I drop a one take or a song or something. Like, you know, you got to be active. Put yourself out there and you'll see things change, man.
Okay, so a question I want to ask to the both of you. This is something we also talked about in the first episode. Was do you guys actually believe in the whole? I don't believe it. I truly don't believe people can blow up with just one song.
No.
I think it's bullshit.
I
And
mean-
there have been artists out there that claim it's happened, but I don't think. I think it's all bullshit. I think the guys that claim that they blow up off one song or one Instagram post or one YouTube videos, they're the kids that their parents pay for everything, and they've already got a bit of money, and they spend $5,000 on marketing, and that's my belief.
That's a pretty specific assumption, but
It does happen, man. It definitely happens for people, but it's, I mean, like the rarity of that happening. But it definitely happens. I mean, plenty of people have.
I was going to agree with you saying, yeah, people do, especially in the bass world. It is very rare scenario, but there are cases where people actually, you know, where they do. But what I think it is like an example I'll give to you, Iggy, is one of my favorite dubstep songs. It's Intro Styles Catalyst. And that song, right, he was a one-hit wonder in the dubstep songs, and that song is brilliant. You showed me that song. But basically, you have a look, and he doesn't have really any other songs. But although he might not have blown up, that song blown
The
up.
song did, but he
And-
hasn't.
But he hasn't. And to this day, when I go through, like, this song is so old. When I go through my top songs, I'll always play that song. And so it's funny how you say that. Sometimes that song might live forever, but the producer might not.
Exactly.
So it's a kind of like catch-22 with it there. But yeah, you're right. Like, think about Spaghetti. And back in the day when we listened to Spaghetti before he was big, he was producing songs like how many times? Like twice, 2 to 3 times a week. He was producing dubstep songs at the top tier.
And that comes to being consistent.
Oh, but there was like, he was doing so much. And these, like, with dubstep songs you never heard, he had such a unique sound. And he was producing them so much. You remember the memory where we met Spaghetti?
Oh,
one of our idols. And we sat and he literally was like, you meet some douchebag DJs, like you were mentioning before, that you've got to give back to the people. And you've got to, if you're not going to put in, then, you know, how do you expect to be treated like that? And this was the first DJ I met, and he was the one to this day, the nicest DJ I've ever met. There's a few of them off the top of my, like, you know, Dak Jenners was awesome, Prototype was mad, Bomber was cool, but Spaghetti, let's go
Top.
back to
See, that's another thing too, though, is that we have also met some fuckwit DJs, and I'm not going to drop any names once again because I'm not about that. But one of these guys was actually Australian, and that was so heartbreaking to me, man. Because I remember this specific memory where we had DJ'd, and I've gone into the green room. For people who don't know what the green room is, that is where the DJs hang out before or after the set. That's where the dude DJs take the girls back. They get drinks, we drink, whatever. It's basically where the superstars mingle. Not saying we're the superstars, but you know what I mean. And obviously,
that was such a good experience. I love being treated like royalty.
Yeah.
And that was at where was that at the uni? The uni stage. I forget what that place was.
Manning Bar.
Manning Bar. That was my favourite
the
place.
University of Sydney, I think. But anyway, I go in because I'm a fucking DJ, I've got my bag in there, right? I go in there, and straight away, people just look at me like as if like, why am I in there? And I'm thinking, I'm a fucking DJ, you fuckwit. Like, what do you mean? I go in there, and I see this DJ who was one of the headliners of the show, and I was like, man, fuck, like, man, bro, like, how I fanboyed. I was like, man, fuck, like, I'm a massive fan, whatever. Like, I played earlier, yada, like, whatever. And he kind of just, like, looked at me, like, didn't shake my hand, didn't really respond. And then a couple of workers were like, oh, like, do you kind of mind, like, kind of giving him a bit of space? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, all right. Then I grabbed my bag, and I literally grabbed my bag, took the whole bag out of the green room and just walked out. I was like, fuck this, I'm going to hang out with the crowd where I feel like I belong.
Well, people got egos, man.
Of course.
But in other instances, like going back to Spaghetti, we met him, and he literally was like hanging out after he played his set, and we went and spoke
was
to him,
in
like,
the crowd,
Spag, he come out in the crowd, and it was like he had a set, and it literally was just us boys and a few other people, and it was my favorite set up to that point.
Didn't
it was
we
the best
ask him to play a song and then he ended with it?
So we spoke to him before he got there, and we told him like how much we loved him. I told him what my favorite song was, and what that song where the chick sings
the
that,
remix,
yeah.
the remix.
Then running out.
Yep.
I was off. Oh,
man.
Okay, look, I can't remember that song, but like this is like the bit where you'd plug that song, right? And literally, he ended on it. And as he ended on this song that we told him was our favourite by him, he looked straight at us.
And he was going, and we were like,
and like the thing is, like, we were two randoms that simply just supported him. And he went the extra step and was like, you know what? I'm going to make these guys. And like, we will never, ever forget that. And I think that's what's so important if you're producing music. Whatever you do, you leave that lasting impression. And although we're just two people turns into how many people because, you know, then we, you know, share Spaghetti. Like, it's simple business. But not only that, it just shows, like, I'm telling you, like, it separates the cream, like, you know.
And that's cool too. Like, I mean, he probably doesn't think about that too much, but you two.
No, he wouldn't remember it.
That's why. Like,
wouldn't
it's
remember
and being able to give that to people is special, I think, and that's all. And people take that for granted, man. Musicians, but I'd love to do, like, even people now, just for the fans that we've got now that are actually dedicated and listen to everything we drop, man. It's so heartwarming, man. It really is that feeling. People, and it's just. Feeling. When artists blow up and they get too big for their boots, man, it's
sad to see.
It's terrible because they forget where they came from.
Yeah, and when I'm going back to my story, I mean, the fact that this guy's Australian too, like, it's kind of like, man, fuck.
Is Spaghetti? Is he American?
No, he's actually Spanish.
Oh, no, he's
really?
not. No, he's not.
No, he is.
Are you sure he's Spanish?
Yeah.
I swear he was like Canadian or something.
No. I'm pretty sure he's from Spain. I don't know if
Google.
he lived.
No, he's not. I don't think he's.
Does he still make
I'll find
music?
it.
What's our
Yeah,
tech,
he does, but he
tech
kind of.
guy, Jimmy, pull up. Yeah, can you just find out where Spaghetti's from?
There's no Jimmy.
Jimmy's on it, mate. Don't worry.
There's Jimmy. There's Jimmy.
So I know Iggy's right. He's from Spain. He's right.
Yeah. And want to know how I know?
Did he have
I'm
an
right?
accent?
No, yeah, he does have an accent.
I
But
didn't think he was Spanish. He didn't sound
yeah,
Spanish.
do you want to know how I know that? I remember this because on the night, that same night that Mike's talking about, I said, "Hey man, are you Spanish?" And I said something to him in Spanish, and he responded in German. No, he responded in Spanish, obviously, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's because, and then me and him were kind of like just having a bit of a laugh, and I can't remember what I said. Do not ask me, for the life of me, I cannot remember. But that's how I remember, and because there was a fuck up on one of his big profiles. I don't know. This was before Spotify, so I'm not too sure if it was. I think a record label on YouTube released a song of his, and they had put in a description, Spaghetti from fucking like
Belgium.
Belgium, yeah,
That's why I
Belgium.
thought he was from Belgium.
No, it was wrong, and he is actually Spanish from Spain.
Because do you remember literally from that, like when we asked him, like one of the first things you asked him, and I remember this very well, was, about production. It wasn't just like we first told him how much we love him and we started listing his favourite songs and how much, we're into dubstep. And then from there, he was talking about production. We're like, bro,
We asked him what he used, eh?
We're like, yeah, what do you use and how do you do it?
FL.
And he literally told me he'd sit on a plane, he'd sit on his laptop, and he was always making music. He said, I can't remember exactly, but he didn't start with dubstep. He started with like weird, like
He was
a
making
garage
beats.
Yeah, beats, and like the thing is, he naturally just told us his whole story. Like it was just cool because not only that, like we were guys that wanted to do something so similar, and we really gathered that together, and we were doing not the same thing, but we had a goal, and really learning other people's goals and how they did it. It motivates you in a way to like, you know what. This guy had done it from nothing, and it just goes, so can you.
Inspires you, man.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
It was so cool,
But
bro.
it was just,
So
it was simple. All he did was spend 10 minutes of his time while he's out, instead where other DJs just hide backstage. No, he come out in the crowd, and he was just hanging out for 10 minutes, and he probably would have had more fun. And I remember every time, do you remember when we played back at that Greenwood set? I remember at one point, because there was 5 of us, I went and got a beer from the bar, and I was drinking a beer while watching them, while I was actually DJing. Like, there's so many times that we could just go have a drink break, we'd have a beer, and then we'd go dance in the crowd. So many times where, once I get out in the crowd, everyone's picking me up. We'd always, like, one person would just jump in the crowd and just simple crowd reaction. But although a lot of those guys are our mates, like, all the other people watching them go, who the hell are these guys?
Who the fuck are these guys?
Who are these guys? And, like, all of them, they was just... We were having such a good time, and it was so natural, but, like, none of this was planned. It's how the
happened.
music
It just
made you
happened,
feel.
That's how you know you're doing the right thing, man. I'm telling you, when it just life will steer you where you need to go.
Yeah.
Life will steer you where you need to go.
Well, so going back to the first question I asked about calling bullshit on the people who believe that they just blow up over one song. Another question this is also another question I had actually asked DZ in the first episode, but obviously we're not going to hear it, so I may as well ask it while we've got a guest here. Is do any of you two believe that you can sell your soul to the devil for fame and riches, to sort of just like fast forward, so you skip the grind and then people just fund you? I truly believe that out there somewhere, there's not a devil, but there is a group.
There is a devil.
There is a group of like seedy old rich white dudes, and they will literally do everything for you, but they just make you do fucked up things.
Man,
I believe that's out there.
the
I'm
devil
just saying.
is out there, like hell and
But
fire.
in the form of
and people do sell their souls, man. I'm telling you, it happens. There's weird stuff in the world, like old ancient Star Wars energy shit. All that's real, man. The world's a freaky place. People think it's so far-fetched, but look at life in itself. Life's crazy enough, man. Why is it so far-fetched that there's evil, ancient energies and things and battles going on that we can't even comprehend? I don't know. I think people sell their soul to the devil, but I don't think it's necessarily you pick up some black magic book and anyone can just do it. I think once you gain a certain level of influence, you're going to be tempted by certain things.
You will be approached.
And you have to have that mindset where, you can do it yourself and you got to, not give in to these temptations. But, I think people do it for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely believe there's a devil, and I think kind of, redefining what, DZ said is like, people will, life will present themselves like shortcuts and ways where you're like, all right, so I can try and do it this way, skip it this way, and you go for this short route, and in the end, you know what I mean? You kind of sell yourself to the devil and you don't get the outcome you want because you go against who you are, what you believe in, and it can blow up in your face just by taking like a simple shortcut or doing something the wrong way. Like as we talked before about not giving back to the people in those simple times when everyone would come up to us at sets and say how much they loved the set. Like we'd generally give them a thank you, and I was like, I was just like we always gave back, and we met so many people, just like people from all like North Sydney, Camden, like so many different people from that, and we made so many friends to the point when we were going to the festivals, these guys would like wave at us from like across the room, pull us together, and like it was just so cool. Like it's literally how there was negativity to the community, but at the same time the community was it was just cool. Like it was just a very different experience that like I hadn't experienced before.
You got to stay humble, man, and the reward's greater if you do. If you put the time in for your fans and the people who are listening, coming to watch you DJ, if you put the time in to show them that you appreciate them being there, more will come. Like it's just the way of the world, man. What you put out is what you get back. So you got to stay humble and be grateful for the people putting time into you.
Yeah, I see. I'm all for that, being humble and shit like that. But something I'm going to bring up too, which I think is also overlooked, is I personally believe that the EDM community, not in Sydney, this is now out of Sydney, I'm talking like on a world base, I reckon it can be fucking toxic as.
Every community can be, man. Have you seen Rocket League? The fucking bruh, man. Community. It doesn't matter what you're. Even Star Wars. We all love Star Wars.
Toxic people out there, man.
And their opinions and thoughts that enrage you. You look at this thing and you're going, "Oh my god!" Like, dude, like you're calling yourself. You're in a fanatic Star Wars group, but you don't know. You haven't watched a cartoon and you don't know certain like just little things like that's a little thing.
Or you claim to be a fanatic fan of Star Wars, for example, and for some reason you don't like episode 2, 6, 8, and you only like half of episode 5.
Like, I mean, that's people's opinions are one thing, but the thing in these communities and anything you're into, like it's being able to respect other people's opinions. Like Star Wars is the prime example. Like Star Wars, man, people hate certain movies and this and that, and they attack anyone who disagrees. But like, man, you got to be able to talk about what you love in a respectful way. People are gonna have different opinions to you, man. But like, you don't need to. And a lot of the time, I feel like these people that are so toxic are just doing it for fun, man. Like, and you take them full serious, and they're just having a laugh. They don't even believe what they're saying.
There's literally people who just troll for it, just because
we know quite a few of them.
So do I. I got mates who fucking love trolling.
I got a brother for one.
They just troll for no fucking reason, and then like that's another thing that. Like, think of it, like if you're a producer or whatever, even if you're just trying to follow a dream or pursue a goal, it could be hard because so personally me, I can't really relate because I don't give a fuck about people's opinions, and I'm very fortunate, and I guess we kind of got that from my mother.
Thick skin, man.
Our mother's very, very, very thick-skinned, so we got that from her. But there's people out there whose brains function a little bit differently than ours.
Too sensitive.
But you can't really blame them because, like, imagine making a song. Like, imagine our first EP, right, Supervillain, and we put so much effort and time. But we were making that shit for fucking, what was it, like 3-4 months?
It was only 5 songs, dude.
So yeah, it was. But that's what I'm saying. I was coming home.
We dedicated blood, sweat, and tears.
Was that right when I first got the job with you, Ashfelding?
Mm-hmm.
It was. Mm-hmm. So this is when I had changed jobs. I was working long hours for the first time in years. I was fucked every day. Every day I was fucked. And I was coming home working on that shit because like I was so fucking excited for it. And then we upload it, and then imagine just seeing the first comment as some fucking random cunt, and he just goes, this is trash. Like, you'd be like, wait. To me, I just kind of laugh it off. I kind of fight back. I argue back. Like on YouTube, I'll upload a YouTube video, and someone will comment, this doesn't make any sense, get to the point. And I'll comment back, like, shut the fuck up, like, I fucked your mum, or some shit. Like, I like fighting back, because I know the saying is true, you can't troll a troll.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a fucking troll. Like, I troll all day at work. I have a laugh. It's all about just, having a laugh. So you can't troll me because I'm a fucking troll. If you troll me, I'll troll back. But there's people out there who aren't trolls, get trolled, and they get upset.
I take it to heart.
They take it to heart. That would suck. Like that would literally suck.
I mean, it's something you develop too. I mean, I'm nowhere near as bad as you. I mean, I like, you know, obviously making music, you're never going to make music where everyone likes you. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. But like, and I've definitely gotten better too. Like, I don't really get it much at all, but occasionally there'll be a bad comment or something. It's just, I've learned now to just ignore it. Like, I don't really care. But, you know, at the start, it used to affect me a lot more than it does now. It's just something you got to develop over time. Once you realize, if you realize your talent and your potential and you're having fun doing what you do, what anyone else says can't do anything to you, man. It's just water under the bridge because you know you're doing the right thing. Like, I love making music. I'll do it if one person's listening, you know, and I always do it because it's fun. So, like, what all these haters have to say, I don't really, you know, care. If you don't like it, don't listen.
Well, that's another thing too. Like, even working with, like, so now me and Mike now work together. We've been friends for years, doing music for years, and now we, for some weird fucking reason,
And it's not our first time. We've
it's not
worked
our
together.
first time either. It's not our
It's our second time in completely different industries. I always forget about that memory, but we did work together.
That's another fucking awesome thing why I love this little cunt so much is because when I first started studying music at UWS
That's right.
at Quakers Hill, I was studying, it was classified as full-time. So I was going 3.5 days. That's right. That was a half day for some reason. So that was like 7 to 12 or whatever, or 12 to 5 or whatever the fuck it was. It was a half a day. So I was going from Tuesday, Wednesday for half a day, Thursday, Friday.
So you're like,
And
had
I
no
was
time
like,
to work.
I was like, what the fuck? How am I gonna even pay the fucking the TAFE bill? And the first person I ring when I'm in complete peril is Mr.Meegley, Michael, and he gives me a job when he was a manager. What were you, area?
So
manager?
I was a restaurant manager
I was
working at
flipping
Guzman
burgers
Gomez.
for fucking $20 an hour.
Making burritos, and because I was a restaurant manager, and I basically did the roster. Like, who's gonna hire a guy that can work 4 hours a week? And I'm like, that's no worry, brother. I didn't need people. I was like, I can do this for you. So I get him in. I was like, I don't care what they say. You're gonna come in here. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this comes in, speak Spanish. You know, lots of funny stories and times in there. But the main thing is, he wanted to pursue music, and I know he was really stressed about, you know, obviously it's like whenever we go to uni to study something, you also need, you know, money to come through.
You need support.
And although it wasn't heaps, it was enough where, you know, it's going to be very hard for him to get a job without people knowing. But I was in a position of power where I could do that. And although it wasn't practical, it wasn't too hard of a job. Like, he was just simply there, you know, making burritos. And every time, like, I had all these guys, like, you know, 5-year experience. Where I was like, no, get off the line. It'll just be me and this guy on the line, making burritos, just
first
chilling,
burrito.
laughing, having a good time the whole time. You know, we're just talking about music and our plan. It was literally like a business meeting while we're rolling burritos and making enchiladas.
And again, everything happens for a reason, man. You had that job. Everything happens for a reason. Everything falls into place, man.
Like, I was literally goddamn rolling.
Like, how
burritos.
lucky is that? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. What
think about it.
what are the odds of, like, one of your mates who's like a high up boss in a fucking fast food franchise?
it was a
By the way-
Mexican restaurant.
By the way, this is fucking Guzman Y Gomez,
Yeah,
right?
chill,
This
G.
is like full on. Like, we're working with motherfuckers who are only speaking Spanish, and they all know that Michael can't speak Spanish. And I've rocked up, and I'm for what? For at least 10 of those workers thought I couldn't speak Spanish either.
Yeah, I told him coming into the job, I was like, look, bro, there's people talking shit about me.
And I
what I want you to do is, look, he doesn't sound like, you know, although he might have that look to him, like, you're not going to 100% pick it. And the way you talk, so you're like, no way. So he comes in, people knew he was kind of my friend. So I played that bit, and I was like, do not tell him you can speak Spanish. And yet again, I was like, they're the two, listen to them. And as you go along, he's listening, you know, you take over. But
That's the fucked up thing too, is because fucking Alejandro and fucking Pedro, whatever the fuck their names were, they were speaking their Spanish lingo, Juan, and I'm sitting there and I could hear blah, 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 Michael, blah, 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 and I was like, I was like the narc. I ran straight to the office. I'm like, bro, they're fucking talking shit,
I
bro.
knew it. These dogs.
Like, these cunts talking shit. And I remember, and I remember, I'm kind of spewing the way, even though obviously Michael knew about this, he didn't give a fuck, but
No.
the way I left that job, I kind of regret, because it was the only job in my life that I've actually just walked out of. Because I remember once, after about So I studied for like what 2.5 years, whatever the fuck it was, or a year and a half, whatever I did a Cert 3 and diploma. So however long that is at TAFE. As soon as that was done, obviously I was then looking for work where I can get back on my feet and earn some okay coin. So I applied for a couple of afternoon shift jobs because then my plan was to then, I don't know why I thought this would be a good idea, but I thought I would work on music during the day. So wake up early, like 7, 8 in the morning, work on music all day, go to work at night. I don't know why. I thought that would, like, you get the same amount of time in the afternoon or morning, doesn't fucking matter. And then I remember I applied and I was literally at Guzman Y Gomez Parramatta. I was there and I got the phone call from a work agency, and if people don't know what a work, and like American people probably don't know what this is, but this is like a company where they find you work.
I'm sure they have similar things.
Yeah, they do it for you. But anyway, they ring me and they say, man, you've got a job. It's $26 an hour. It's afternoon from 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, yeah, fucking awesome. When do I start? And I'm expecting, in a week, 2 weeks, whatever. They go, oh, tonight.
I was gonna say tomorrow.
Yeah. No, tonight. And it's midday. It's fucking midday. And I've gone, okay, sick. I'll be there. Hung up. Message Michael saying, bro, I'm so fucking sorry to do this to you, but I've got a jet. I've got the job. And he just goes, yeah, bro, all good. Just tell the person who's in charge.
Because you remember at that point in time that what happened was I got transferred. So because we work for corporate,
right.
I got transferred from Parramatta.
So
I left him and he's still employed, but he's done this while I got moved off into a city. So I went to manage Westside Sydney because I got to do, not important, but I went to do that. And then while he was there, literally, because that'll happen, he just not come in. They're like, oh yeah, could they switch management? They went from corporate to like a franchisee. So like a person come on board it where we were just working for the company.
Yes.
And then that's kind of how it kind of worked out well because he just started fading because only doing this one shift where I was hooking him up. But we always knew that was just a filler job while he was doing that. And we knew as soon as it didn't get as much, he could do something else. It was just a quick solution where I was like, look, bro, you starting next week. And then it was as simple as that.
That's right. See, I didn't
So
remember
what?
that.
You didn't put in a letter of resignation?
No.
You just stopped going.
It's the only job I've had where
You're still employed there.
Yeah. Technically, I still work there.
But it's simply because they switched from corporate to franchise, which is how that could happen. Because, he started doing like a week of not working there. One of the guys that was filling in at the time just messaged me and they go, oh, what's happening? I was like, oh, he's not doing shifts because I knew his situation. So it was just like, although he kind of walked away from it, just it's the same thing again. Everything happens for a reason. It collided perfectly. I had to go away, and it probably worked out for the best because then he started his new chapter, and it's just funny how things work out.
Falls into place.
Yeah,
falls into place, man.
See, I totally forgot about that. That's right. I was by myself, surrounded by Colombians and shit. I was by myself, right? And then I remember messaging him. He goes, "Bro, it's all good. Just message whoever's in charge." And then I remember hung up the phone. At this point, I've already started packing my bag, and I was working on the line. And people who don't know, on the line, I was literally the motherfucker helping make the burritos.
it's a production line. It's a production line of food.
You're putting the beans on the plate.
I was putting the beans, flipping the fucking burger, passing it down to the next guy, whatever. So I then go into the office, and the poor lady who was in charge, she was a lady, she was a lovely lady. She was probably the only one I liked. And she just says to me, I go in and I go, all right, look, I'm so sorry, but I didn't even say the words I quit. I said, I'm going. and then she just looks at me, and then in Spanish, by the way, she goes, did you just get offered a job opportunity? And I replied, I was like, yes. She goes, good money? I was like, a lot better than here. And she goes, okay, sweet, go. She's like, see ya, good luck. Never seen her again. Never spoke to her again. Yeah, and that was it. And I literally just left. Didn't even say bye to fucking Juan, Pedro, Felipe, Rodriguez. Didn't say bye. I just left. And that was it, bro. And then I'm on the train back to Sydney, get my car, get my work. I didn't even have fucking work boots and shit, get my shit. And I've just gone in sneakers to this random factory in fucking, where was it? Like the back of fucking, Mitchinbury or some shit.
Yeah, you've had a lot of jobs, man. I've had 2 jobs in my life. I worked at Red Rooster and now at Coles. And that's it.
Once again, this comes back to the whole impatient thing. Once I hit the maybe 1 year mark of a job, that's when I start to really look at myself in the mirror and go, man, what the fuck
You
am
need to
I
change.
doing myself? But I feel like working with someone you're so close with, like Michael and his brother Brad, that kind of gets voided.
Makes it feel less.
It
like
makes
work.
it feel like, because bro, we go to work and we're talking. How we're talking now is how we talk at work.
We're doing flashbacks 24/7. We're doing plans. We're doing all this. We're doing that. Like, even bring me onto the podcast. Like, we talk about everything. So
At
although
work.
you're working your ass off, A, you're earning money so you can accomplish your goals. And then B, when you're working a 14-hour day inside, it doesn't matter, because not only do I have my brother there, I have a mate there. And for Iggy, he's got two of his best mates. And it makes it better.
That's
because at the
mad.
same time, it voids all away because you're doing all this talking at the same time without really realizing it. We're getting, we're accomplishing, or we're on the right path to really accomplishing
making
goals, especially
money.
with music. Not only that, you're making money, but we're still putting plans in place. You're talking about music, and not just that, like anything we kind of really do. Like, we're always kind of like doing like what you do at a business meeting. You'd have the whiteboard up and you'd have a plan, and we can't really do that while we're just in a little bits at work while we're working. We're just constantly talking crap, being trolls, and but at the same time having productive conversations. It's always me, Brad, and Iggy over in one corner talking shit about this, and it's just how it goes down. And it's a cool experience, man, because you don't understand those little things at how much they actually add up to what you're doing.
Yeah, fucking oath. If you're spending so much time with someone, you're just naturally gonna talk about some useful shit eventually. So it's like, if you're spending every day at work together, you're gonna eventually come up with some good ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like that,
100%.
you wouldn't be that otherwise. Like, to meet up with your friends, most people got to wait for the weekend or something. But if you're working with this fucking guy,
It's like it's like 24/7 brainstorming, like literally brainstorming on the go. And you're right, like then the weekends when we have something on, that's you could go up to like 21 days straight of seeing that one person. And you don't even realize that until you really have a good hard think.
Which is weird too, because I know a lot of people for a fact who they reckon they can't work with their friends.
nah, that's bullshit, man. I'd love to work, man.
I've been told that, man, before.
And it's the same thing. You can't work with family. Like, don't get me wrong. Me and my brother, and there'll be times where we'll have a little bit of a run-in at work. It's just because you're around
that's just
someone
work.
so much, but at the same time, you can.
It's kind of like sport.
Depends what you're doing too, I feel.
Yeah, but it's kind of like sport, though. The old saying in sport goes, "What happens on the field stays on the field." It's the same thing.
But
with
if you're
work, bro.
if you're a lawyer, right? Say you and your best mate got law degrees and you're both trying to be a lawyer, then that's a little different to tarring the roads or picking
Yeah,
letters.
of
You know what I
course.
mean?
It's totally different. Like,
Yeah,
I think
right.
it suits the kind of work we do, because we all have our roles. Like, we're a lot of the time we don't see each other all the day because I'll be stuck on a role or something. But at the same time, there's still all those points where you're connecting together. Where, as you said, you really see your mates like from a Friday to Sunday. But when you can go we're at work, as Iggy said, like up to 12 hours, 18 hours.
It's a long
And even
time.
when we've got to go work a Saturday or a Sunday, I don't mind it if I'm working with my friends and my brother
boys.
and that, because we're all earning bank. But at
And
the same
hanging
time,
out.
yeah, like
Getting paid to hang out.
It's the Hannah Montana, man. It's the best of both worlds.
We're getting paid to hang out. We're getting and we work with some wacky dudes.
I wish I
man.
could say the same.
Good dudes, but they're fucking wacky.
Wacky.
Shit gets real wacky.
They're the good ones. Some of the conversations I have, I'm telling you, like, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you'd honestly
fucking
probably
weird.
call the cops if you heard
It's
those conversations.
fucking
But
weird, man.
It's
Keep talking.
yeah, it's a good conversation.
Yeah. Which would be interesting too, because a couple of the work boys, you could probably have them on the show.
100%. Like, it's funny how you come and how many different like characters and people do you have working that you realize you work with, but at the same time you can still get on and really, find similar. No matter what, each one of them you could, there'd be a lot of things that go, oh, all right, I'm not into that, but there is always at least one topic where there's similarities.
Everyone
And
kind of
I think
meshes together.
the fact that you're all around the same situation every day, and like when you're all having a bad day, which we do a lot, like more than normal,
yeah.
like more days than not. But at
Yeah.
the same time, because we're in it together, like it's just fun. Like it's like a teamwork in a way, like without even realizing. You just push through it together. You're all in the same boat, and it's funny like how much of those times really like you be there and you just have a really hard think, and then that idea spawns. I'm like, oh, Iggy, what up? Let's do this. Let's do that, and then
Yeah.
we all really move forward from that idea.
Yeah. Nah, 100%. Like the some of the dudes from work, man, I could easily get them on the podcast, bro. And when we just talk, like, I mean, we've even picked up like a very odd, not odd, but I've picked up like a new habit where, like, this week alone, I've gone fishing after work like 3 times.
Fishing is
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah,
man.
literally. So me, Brad, which Brad is Michael's brother, which he will be on this show very soon. So if you hear the name Brad, so you all know, me, myself, Brad, another fella, and another fella from work. We've been finishing work, not coming home, but going to a random lake and just fishing with bread and corn. and I personally haven't caught nothing yet, but two of them sent me a photo because they went yesterday and I didn't go. He caught, one of them caught a fucking fat ass fish, like a monster fish with bread. So that just goes to show, bro, like we're just doing just random shit with these dudes, bro. And these are guys, like I've had many jobs before, and all these jobs in the past, like I used to see it as a lot of these dudes I couldn't really hang out with outside of work. But this company is kind of different. It's like, well, fuck, these guys are kind of cool. like you know
everyone's
what I mean?
so different, but like the age span is like what the youngest person is.
Probably me.
Probably you. And like, well, when Jordan works, it was
Or
younger.
Brad. No, Brad.
Brad's the youngest.
Brad's the youngest.
So it ranges really from 24, and the oldest guy
Like
is like
50.
And like you can get along with some of these people, like what our boss is like, what in his 30s, and we get along.
And
with
he's
like,
hilarious.
It's crazy, really, when you think about
Bro,
like
my work is mostly old women, old ladies.
See, that would be
at
totally
Coles, bro,
different.
and dealing with the customers in Penrith, man. I tell you, work is crazy.
That's how it used to be like for me, and now coming over to just like a full guy, it's such a different experience, man. Like don't get me wrong, I'm glad I did that where I could have a gym, but it's so different, so different.
I wish I could work with my mates, but you know, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and from that, you know, you have time to do what you need to do.
Exactly. I mean, it works for now. You know what I'm saying?
Which is weird too. I'm pretty sure as soon in high school, because me and Brad literally did everything together, I'm pretty sure as soon as he left to get an apprenticeship roof tiling, I didn't even last like a month in school. Because I was literally, at that point, I was literally by myself because everyone at that point had dropped out except me. And for some weird reason, I was trying to soldier on.
Yeah, you didn't finish year 12.
No. I dropped out halfway through year 11. And I literally got told, okay, this is a fucked up story, which I haven't even told any of my family members. So this is going to, actually probably won't be a bit of a shock, but I literally got approached by a teacher. And she said to me, pulled me aside one day when I was on lunch on my break. And she goes, look, Iggy, if you don't find a job sooner, you're probably going to get expelled. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, and I don't know if it was like a scare tactic or if it was like, maybe she was trying to just scare me into like picking up my act, but I was like, wait, what? I was like, why? And she goes, well, like, you're not really doing anything.
You're just there.
I was like, what the fuck? And I don't think like you're even legally allowed to tell a kid that.
No,
Really?
I don't think it's, she had that conversation with Brad, and like it's a really good conversation with Brad and like Giles, like two other people. So she had this with like a 1-on-3, and she went to each one of them,
Each one of us, and I was like, what the? I was like, what? I was like, and then straight away, just trying to be a smart ass that I was like, well, I don't give a fuck because I've got a roof tiling apprenticeship. I didn't even have a job yet. And then I messaged Brad that night. I'm like, hey man, can I get a job? He goes, yeah, come in next week. I was like, yeah, hectic, and I just never went back to school. Never went back to school.
Well, I mean, I finished it. I mean, I was completely different to you in school, man.
Well, see, I was the complete opposite to my brother too.
Man.
My brother was just like
pretty
Iggy, and I was like the teacher's pet. Like I was just I did what I was told because I was too scared if I didn't. But in the end of the day, I finished at 12. Did I use anything from that? No.
Yeah, so did I.
Do I believe you need to? Not at all.
Well,
No.
that's a crazy thing too. You go to school for how many fucking years it is, and you don't get taught how to apply for a loan,
Change a tyre,
how to get a mortgage.
Without a qualification, you can earn more money than what the teachers are on. Like it's
exactly right.
It's ridiculous. It's because they all crop you into doing one thing and be a sheep, and it's like they want people to do the basic, but they don't. You know, people they do. The government and everyone else, like they do want people to fail.
They teach you how to be workers, not how to be entrepreneurs.
They don't want everyone to be, because if they told everyone the secret and like the truth to how you can be successful, which you know is different for everyone, but there is a business approach to it, everybody would be rich.
Especially these days, man.
Everybody
The school system, I feel like, is so outdated, man. It's like old fashioned as like these days with the internet, man. It's not hard to do what you love. You just got to have the dedication, put the effort in, and they don't teach you that, man. They teach you how to fall in line, how to do this, how to do that. Like they're raising sheep, man.
How many times did a teacher tell you that basically if you didn't get a good score in your HSC, that you were going to fail?
Yeah.
You were fucked. The sky was falling, basically.
Fucked.
Like literally, that is how many times. I don't remember how many times. Like we were constantly told that from as soon as you hit year 9, like bang, and then you get out of it and you're going, hold on a minute, like. No, you were completely wrong. You were telling all of us, like, it's when you actually really think about it, it's kind of messed up because no, you don't. Like, how I used to get so scared and so pressured. Like, I tried so hard to do well, and I didn't even use anything with it. I didn't want to do anything with it. But like, you tried so hard, and like, you imagine like some people don't have the mental capacity to deal with that, and they get overstressed, like freak out, and then at the end of the day, like some people like don't get me wrong, like you want to be a doctor, all that stuff. Yeah, that path would work out, but basically. You could do what you wanted to do, and you could still be successful.
I think a lot of people these days, that's why they're scared to put themselves out there, is because
they know no different.
And people look at you. Say you're in school. It's always in school, right? Everyone knew they had that classmate who was trying to do a YouTube channel or something, and people would roast you because people are scared to put themselves out there, man. And I think part of it is because of school and society. You're made to believe that these people who are doing what they love and being entertainers, it's a 1 in a million. You know what I mean? And people have this. It gets ingrained in you that doing this stuff is unrealistic. You're never going to be able to do it, and people just buy into that, and they refuse to put themselves out there because they're scared. It's embarrassing. But man, you got to fuck what people think. You got to go after what you want, and that's what they really should be teaching you in school.
See, I'm glad you bring that up too, because especially like with like the whole trying to follow your dreams and do something different. Because example, when I first started making music and doing YouTube and shit, like I was so like I'm obviously not a YouTuber and I don't want to be a YouTuber. I literally upload content to help.
Oh, you got to use YouTube, man.
I literally upload content to help other people, but like I do have a couple of videos that like they got like 20,000, 30,000 views and shit. But that's like it's only like 2 or 3. It's not constant. And I remember when I finally cracked that like 30,000 views on a video, I like literally shit my pants because I was like, man, fuck, like what if like a guy that I used to go to school with sees it or like thinks it? And then I kind of stopped doing YouTube for like a solid year, and it really fucked my channel up because like I said before earlier about the Instagram thing, it's about staying consistent. And if you don't stay consistent, the analytics, they drop your viewership and they don't push your video out. So I literally stopped doing YouTube because I was like, man, fuck, what if someone sees it, blah, blah, blah. And then literally like 2 years later, I was like, wait a second. I was like, I don't give a fuck about what any of them. That's what I was going to say. You know what I mean? I was like, who gives a fuck? I was like, what, you're going to laugh at the kid who's trying to pursue something while you go home, you work 8-9 hours, you come home, you drink yourself until you go to bed and that's it. You don't do nothing. You just watch TV. If it's fun
to you and you love it, you got to do it. Right. Would people laugh at PewDiePie? No, they wouldn't, but they probably did at some point when he first started.
And I'm pretty sure we could go another 3 hours, like I said to you before. A 24-hour podcast, man.
Yes, man,
If you think that's a good idea, please react to this.
Yes. That 100 episode cigar will do it 24 hours.
No.
This guy brought up while we were fucking doing some shit off air, he says, man, fuck, we know it would be hectic if we did like a 24-hour podcast. And I think it could possibly be done.
If anyone could do it, we definitely could, but you have a bench.
No,
you need to have people, like you need to have like 30 of your mates waiting and then get one guy off, next guy in.
So every 10 minutes do a rotation. You have an order, a number drawn out, and you do a rotation, and then even when you guys get a bit tired and you just want to go have a toilet break and eat a lunch break,
guy in.
You do it like that. We rotate it, but we use singly TJM members.
Yes.
TJM members.
Everyone. Let's do it,
but the thing is,
homeless people, we've
had lots of training in our time, and yet again, everything happens for a reason. I think it'd be a whole lot of fun. And direct look, an hour and a half, and that's just between 3 of us. You get between 15 of us, 15 different stories, and we can reminisce on the past. Even in a stream, and that they could easily live go, all right, I want you to talk about this. I'm telling you, I definitely think it's achievable, and it'd be a hell of a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, this podcast, we're going to talk about it. We'll have episodes, question and answer episodes, Star Wars episode,
anime.
We'll talk about anything. I got friends that want to come on. He's got friends that want to come on. Man, we'll do a lot on this podcast.
I think I totally forgot my intro. I was supposed to say it. Did I say this?
Say it now. This will be an episode.
Welcome to FireCast, and I dare say this will be the biggest podcast in the country.
You didn't say that, but I wish you did.
That's my intro. That's my intro.
It's the outro now.
Well, fuck me. Damn it. I knew.
We're next
Man,
time.
the whole time we've been talking, I'm going in my mind, man, fuck, am I forgetting something? I keep looking at the screen and making sure everything's recording, and I realize I forgot my intro line.
Well, that was episode 2, I guess, right?
Episode 2 with longtime friend and TJMR member, Mr.Meegley, Michael Attard. He will be featuring on this more than once throughout the year, and the next episode is, I know most of you aren't going to enjoy this, but we will. It's going to be a Star Wars only episode.
Is that the next one?
No, that'll be with Mr. Meegley next.
Oh,
next thing.
So I'll say
keen
maybe
to talk Star Wars, man.
2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. We've got a lot of weekend work coming up, so it's going to be hard to do it on the weekends. But
during the
weekday,
week, got to do now.
But the next episode with Mr. Meegley, aka Michael Attard, will be Star Wars. So yeah, I know. Yeah, whatever.
It might not be the next episode.
It won't be the next
No,
episode.
you've seen the next
Time
episode
Mike is
with
on.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you like doing this, don't you?
I love doing this. I know there's a lot of guests for you to bring on.
No, Meegley will be a regular for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
We'll get all kinds of people.
Well, thanks for bringing me on, boys. I appreciate being the first guy on here. I love doing this stuff, and I love just talking about memories, man. You're doing good things in the industry, and I really hope this podcast plays up because this is a hell of a lot of fun to record. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, fucking oath, man. Of course.
Thank you for coming, bro. Like I said, this will be the biggest podcast in the country, and thank you for watching FireCast. Peace out.